6:30, I'll call the meeting to order. There's a roll call for this meeting. Nutter here.
Sorgi here.
Severson here.
Bolt here.
Out of here.
Good, we're all here. Thank you for coming. I'm trying to find the agenda here. Oh, here it is. Has everybody, are there any questions about the agenda or any changes anybody wants to make?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Right, okay. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Okay. Certification of open meeting laws have been met. We did the roll call, we did the agenda. Has everybody read the meetings from our earlier meeting in August? Any corrections or issues? Everybody's good? Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, we have 3 minutes for public comment. Is that what it is? 3?
I thought it was 3.
Okay.
Three.
Where is the call-in number listed?
Oh, I almost have it memorized.
It is right there on the screen.
Oh, it is? Okay. All right, if anybody out in the public has any questions or wants to call in, the number is 715-538-1770. Anybody here have any public comment? I just want to publicly thank Buzz for giving the tip for Osseo Fairchild. That may be a possible food site for congregate meals, so thank you for that. ADRC is working on it, so it was helpful to have somebody from another department come and talk to this group. It was good. Is that your computer?
Can we do it straight from
Monday, go for that, for Passion the Arts. You guys have much issues out there, did you?
No, everything was good.
Yeah? Thursday, a lot of campers. Wow.
Yeah.
Can you-
Lots of campers.
can you hand me
A lot of
one
people
of
trying
those?
to get in last
I
minute.
just spoke.
But we did have a fair amount of cancellations, like 3 or 4 cancellations a week leading up to it.
But I'm sure there were people on the waiting list to take them? No?
Quite hard to actually get to them because they already had plans made, so.
Oh, okay.
But we eventually found people.
Yeah.
Okay.
You got just enough rain to make it, you still get in and out, move around, didn't tear up the grass or anything.
No, everything was good, yeah.
That's what I got, it had some, and it was just, and that's pretty sandy there. so.
It is, yeah.
It really only rained Friday, right? As I recall?
Kind of misting all day Saturday too.
Yeah.
If I remember right.
Okay. Bob, we have 3 minutes for public comment. We have about a minute left. Do you have anything?
Yeah,
Go for it.
I would like to have a moment of silence in regards to one of our
Oh, Mr. Wright.
committee members that had passed away on Friday, Roger Reckline from Arcadia.
He was on this committee for
Probably
years.
15, 20 years.
Yeah.
Really?
He was only 76.
Yeah.
I agree. Thank you for that. Okay, I think we have no calls, so we'll move on to item 7, approval of expense for Economic Development 101 training. That is whom? Oh,
That would be me.
That would be Mr. Carlson,
So,
thank you.
good morning. So the proposal here is to, and this is something Mike and I talked about almost from day one on the job here. I brought forward the idea, and I think Mike had the same idea. You'd heard about this training. So Economic Development 101 is about a 3.5-hour, just high-level economic development training course that is put together by the Wisconsin Economic Development Association, which is the statewide association of economic development professionals. I'm a member on behalf of Trempealeau County. And really what it's specifically geared towards is local elected officials, town board members, city council members, village board members, county board members. And it's really just to, touch on some overall economic development concepts like, workforce, marketing and attraction for new businesses, financing strategies for helping businesses. And it is specifically tailored to, the local audience. So it is presented by a consulting firm, but I will be actively involved with that firm to help identify what are some of the issues and topics of interest that might be most relevant to Trempealeau County municipalities. The cost is $1,000, which we have money in our marketing budget for. It's not exactly marketing, it's training, but in a sense, it really does, help our local elected officials and communities be able to better market, themselves, and for economic development. So we're requesting that we be allowed to to incur this expense for the training. The plan that Mike and I talked about is to make this training available at no charge, to any of the local municipalities or individual elected officials that would come. We will provide, because it's going to be during the dinner hour, probably starting at 5:30, going till 9 p.m., we'd provide light sandwiches, Subway or something like that. So I would imagine that the total cost all in for the training and the meal would probably be about $1,300 or so.
Okay.
Any questions?
No, you've talked about this before.
Yep.
Is there a date? Is it October?
Yeah, I'm sorry,
October?
Thursday, October 27th. And we're going to have it up at Riverland Energy in Arcadia. They have a room that'll accommodate about 75 people. I'd be tickled pink if we got that many. Being a first-time thing, I don't know what to expect exactly, although I wouldn't be surprised to, at least get 25, 30 people there.
There might be more.
Might be more. And if it is, that's great. I will say this, a lot of communities just get this training themselves. But as I've talked with different city councils and village boards and town boards in the county here, it's really, we're a small county, and I don't think any community probably could justify that $1,000 themselves for this training. So I think it's just a really good service. The people at WIDA are probably going to be surprised that we have like 50 people, but that's our prerogative as the sponsor, so.
Do you know when the Towns Association meets? Because it would be good to announce it there or let them know.
Yeah, I will be sending out a letter.
Okay, good, okay.
I'll be sending a letter to all the bodies now that we've got,
Okay.
once we get the approval, and have them. I deliberately took the 5th, it's a 5th Thursday, so there shouldn't be anybody that's got meetings that week.
As long as there's not a Thursday night Packer game.
I don't think there is that week. There might be some Halloween parties somewhere, but, yeah.
It's the 27th?
27th, yep,
Okay,
of
all right. All right,
October.
I would entertain a motion to approve this expense.
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Yes?
That one has to be roll since it is money.
Pardon me?
It has to be roll vote because it is money.
Oh, that's right, okay. Sorry, thanks.
No problem. Just don't wanna screw it up.
Nutter, yes.
Sorry, yes. Petrick, yes.
Foltz, yes.
Becker, yes.
Thank you. Go for it. I
All
hope
right.
it's a big success.
Me too.
We should maybe announce it at the county board too, in case there are county board members who want to come.
Yep,
All right. Put yourself on the agenda to discuss it.
okay.
Talk to Paul. Number 8, Economic Development and Tourism Manager Activity Report.
Yeah, so, as is typical, I've been out meeting with various businesses, but really over the last month, I've been trying to tackle, some bigger picture issues, just because there's things coming up that we need to address. So let me talk a little bit first about business financing and available loan funds. Mike and I had talked about, some different things and what kind of funds are available for area businesses, if they need some kind of financing to help with an expansion, et cetera. So I did spend some time last week down talking with Dave Boniface, who is the director of the Mississippi River Regional Planning Commission. That is where really the only two funds that we have available to help businesses reside. There's two funds, both called Business Capital Fund. One is BCF1, one is BCF2. These are monies that are managed by the Mississippi River Regional Planning Commission. These are revolving loan funds, originally federal in origin, Economic Development Administration, that were made available in this region following some significant flooding events in 1993 and 1995. So, typically the way this works is, there's some kind of a natural disaster, there's a need for money to help, rebuild communities, et cetera. And so you get a grant of money with some strings and you loan it out. And when monies are repaid, then they get recirculated, a revolving loan fund. That's what that is. So these monies, long since, probably 15, 20 years ago, had been loaned out, repaid, at which time then they become what they call defederalized funds, and they don't have the same strings that would have been there in the first place, and you can kind of do what you want with the monies. But basically, the purpose of the fund right now is to provide what they call gap financing for business expansions that create jobs. And what that really means is you're trying to fill a gap that a private lender, a private lender will say, yeah, we're comfortable with a loan of this size, but the business really needs this size, so that space between the two hands here is the gap. And so, I'm just making up numbers, but you might have a project that's, or a loan that somebody needs that's $800,000. Lender might say, we can go, 500, and the owner equity's got to be X number of dollars, but that really leaves a gap of 100,000. This is the kind of thing that could make that loan to make up that extra money. And really what they do is the loan size can be anywhere between, I guess it says $10,000 and $130,000. That's probably the smallest and biggest that they've made. They typically are looking for loaning no more than like $20,000 to $40,000 per job. Manufacturing is the target of this. I did have some discussions about what about, agricultural businesses. Somebody's looking to expand their farming operation. And it doesn't necessarily fall into their description of what it's for, but Dave said it's not something that they would rule out. They would just have to see it. One thing that it's not available for, which, is a need in some of our downtown communities particularly, is facade loan improvement or facade improvements. Many small communities have facade loan programs. So if a business has got, you want to make improvements, take down the ugly awnings, that are on, otherwise beautiful Main Street, you can get a loan to do that. You repay it, that kind of thing. Any questions about the loan funds? I bring this up because, as I've now been almost into the job 6 months, we're trying to identify what are the available resources, what are some gaps in resources that we might be able to fill, and then start the discussion of how could we fill them, whether it's going out and maybe trying to get some grant funding to capitalize, a local revolving loan fund, and or, getting some private lenders to maybe partner, to provide some matching funds to, some money that's out there to set up these kinds of things.
Good work, thank you.
Yeah. So the other thing I really wanted to talk about is,
Time for one question.
oh, sure, I'm sorry,
How
Buzz.
do they set the interest rates?
What's that?
How do the interest rates get set?
Yeah, so they set them pretty low. I mean, lately, they've been running about a 1%. I don't know with what, with interest rates. The goal is to try to make that money really affordable. So it's typically going to be below and substantially below, what a bank would charge. Although the last few years before interest rates started heading up, interest rates even in private lenders were running sub 2%.
Below 2%, is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So the other thing, I wanted to spend a little bit of time just talking about tourism. First off, a recap of the fair. We did have our Trempealeau County Tourism Day at the fair on Sunday, August 7th. We ended up with 6 volunteers, or 4 volunteers, so it worked out perfect for us to cover, I think it was 9 hours at the fair that day. So Kevin helped out, George Brandt came down, Perry and Hefner from Galesville, businesswoman down there, she came and helped. And then my wife graciously agreed to help too. So we handed out quite a number of brochures. It's probably several hundred. And the interesting thing was, it was a good opportunity to talk face-to-face with people, tell them where Trempealeau County is, what we have to offer. And Perrion had brought along a little stand-up thing and some flyers about Apple Affair in Galesville, which is coming up October 1.
I know it's their 40th.
Yeah.
Anniversary.
And let me tell you, that was very popular. People are like, oh my gosh. And, we'll see, I don't know how we'll be able to measure it, but there were a lot of people that were saying, oh my gosh, how far away is that from Milwaukee? Yeah, we're coming up. So we'll see what happens with that. But they were also very excited about, like, what are some of the things to do coming up this fall. And, we, of course, talked about the orchards and some of the different, fall, talked about Cheese Fest in Blair coming up in September and that kind of thing. So it really was a good learning experience. I think that, going forward, if we do this, we really maybe use that as an opportunity to talk about things that are coming up in the fall and try to build fall tourism as well as like helping people plan ahead for, winter or spring or summer events. So yeah, that cost us $200 for the day, a few other expenses, but I think it was a very good presence for us to have. And I would probably recommend that we do that again in the future, but.
Yeah, good. Thank you for that.
I think the colors would be something too for interesting.
Yes, yeah, we did talk about, fall colors and stuff too. I think there's like just a tremendous opportunity to, package up Trempealeau County as a fall destination. I know we get a lot of, summer visitors and stuff, with the campgrounds and whatever. But, it just seems like it's a real good opportunity to just keep the momentum going.
A lot of hunters.
Yep.
I mean, we have a lot of land for, public land for
Yep.
people to hunt, whatever they want to hunt.
Yep.
Ducks, geese,
Yep.
deer.
And maybe we'll have snow for snowmobiling.
Yeah,
Maybe.
exactly. So. So the other big focus I've had recently, because these deadlines just kind of sneak up, is looking at our tourism partnerships for 2023. So last week I met with Visit Eau Claire, Visit Winona, and Explore La Crosse. La Crosse and Winona, we've had partnerships and done ads in their visitor's guide the last couple of years. Eau Claire is not one that we've done anything with to date, but that's going to be changing. So as I've discussed with some people, I really think, we've got a good opportunity being sort of in the middle of a triangle between those communities to leverage a lot of resources that those visitors bureaus put together in terms of trying to attract people to the region, to then get people, once they're here, to come and check out Trempealeau County. So we'll probably spend somewhere in the neighborhood of, $3,000 on those partnerships for 2023. While I was in La Crosse and Winona, also spent some time talking to them about their visitors guides, because, we have a brochure right now that I think it's been around for like maybe 3-4 years. It's largely current, but I personally can't get too excited about it. I think that a visitor's guide concept, what we could do every year and update with new information, new calendars is probably the way to go. So I got some good insight in terms of what's involved with that. My question right now is, is it something that I can bite off and do, myself? Or do we need to get some outside help to do it? So that's just a stay tuned thing.
Right.
But I think that there's better than probably a 50-50 chance that we'll put some kind of visitor's guide out next year.
I think that old guide, if I remember correctly, Jean Galazinski could not be here. She could not make this meeting. She had a previous appointment.
Yep.
But we had some help with that, with tourism. But it wasn't done just singularly by us. We
Yeah.
had some support.
Well, I understand from talking to Becky that a large amount of that was produced in-house,
Yeah.
and stuff. So,
But you're right, it does need to be updated because with the new change on how ATV, UTVs can be used, and I've noticed a lot more activity, so people are taking advantage of that.
if we do a visitor's guide, and I should have brought down the examples, but lacrosse, Explore Lacrosse has got like a full-sized, magazine-type visitor's guide. Visit Winona's got a smaller, I don't know what you would call it, but, about that size, which is personally kind of where I think we should go. But the question's gonna be, cost and stuff
Right.
like that. So the one thing that I would just throw out there is if we do a visitor's guide, my intent would be that, we would sell ads in it. We would give our tourism partners and other businesses in the county an opportunity to welcome visitors, and that would be a revenue source then to help pay for the guide. So in Lacrosse, I think they said they don't break even on that because they order a lot of visitors' guides, but it defrays a substantial portion of the cost. In Winona, they didn't give me exact dollars, but as part of their partnership program, it's a net revenue source for them. And so I would hope that we would fall somewhere, in that, not making a ton of money, but making enough to pay for the guide and put some money back into tourism marketing.
Do they have a web-based too, that look up there?
So, yeah, I mean, if you mean by web-based, like an app, none of those three.
Like an app, just some place where it's either available to social media or.
Yeah. They all three of them have social media presence, just like we do. Eau Claire's probably got the most robust website of any of those three. All of them, their content is optimized, so that it can be viewed properly and viewed well on mobile devices. But, just the small sample size I've heard, and I want to talk to people about it a little bit more, is that actually having like a standalone app or something like that you can download for, for tourism bureaus or, travel organizations, is really kind of fallen off. Because believe it or not, apparently people still like to have a visitor's guide
Oh, yeah,
that they
paper is-
can shove in their back pocket or in their purse or something,
Or in
that they
their
can
car.
flip through on the fly, when they're someplace.
Yeah, you don't have internet everywhere you go,
Right.
so.
Right. So, the big thing is going to be, and it's a separate issue from a visitor's guide, but to make sure that our content, on our website and stuff like that, works well with mobile. And I haven't really had time to sit down and do that. I think we have a decent content management system for, our web pages on the county, but it's got some limitations.
Yeah,
I
and
like
I like
the
the calendar. I like the calendar idea because, like in this county, you think you start with the fishing contest in January, February, then you go into the celebrations,
Yep.
then you get the fall festivals, and then you've got hunting in the fall, and it just all through the year, and people can, like you say, put in their glove compartment of their car, say, okay, where are we going this weekend? No, I mean it's handy, and like you say, I'm like that. I like paper. And you can, if you give them a calendar, they can kind of maybe make a plan. We'll go this month here,
Oh.
the Apple Festival. I mean, there's so much you can put in, but if you put it in a like a calendar form, I think that it makes people, they can kind of plan better for it rather than saying, oh, yeah.
One of the things that I certainly will volunteer my time to help you with this project, because I know quite a little bit about
Mhm.
those
Right.
those programs for the associations we work with. And we actually have a printing program where we got everybody pulled together. And so we can create 30,000 flyers for about $295.
Yeah.
So,
Jeez, wow.
yeah, and it's cheaper than Vistaprint or anything else, but it's only because everybody works together, gangs them together, does them at the same time in that same format. So that might help you decide
Yep.
which format do I want to use, because I can get cheaper printing if I use this and gang up with someone else. We actually make money on
Yeah.
ours, so I'm sure there's great ways of doing that in very small communities, and you can make the ads cheap enough to where they work, and I'm happy to help with that, so.
Yeah, and these other visitor bureaus have been, very gracious with, sharing, like,
Their information.
information and even the vendors, like on printing, because Winona does an RFP on their printing every 2 or 3 years,
Sure.
just to try to get a good price and whatever, so.
Yeah, if you gang them together, it's
Yep.
crazy how you can save the money.
You could check with Melissa too in the ADRC, because they do a monthly,
Mhm.
and it's all ad-based.
Yep.
So it's,
Right.
and the ads are all local, and
Yep.
it costs nothing for them to put that out every month.
Yeah.
And it's paper, and it's a book, and
Yep.
it's monthly. So,
So, there's some
Good
other,
stuff.
there's some other considerations with that. If we're gonna do a visitor's guide, the thing we really need to do is take a look, and this is gonna cost some money as well, but to do what they call, some brand photography. We've got pictures that we've used for, different tourism brochures and website and stuff like that, and they're okay. There's really some beautiful pictures and images that we use, but one of the big trends is to try to make sure that you're getting pictures of people,
Yes.
having fun in your environment. And we have a real shortage of that right now.
So one quick way of getting some of that great photography is a contest, and
Right.
that's where you hit your social media
Yep.
a little bit.
Yep.
And if the winners of those contests can email you the picture so that
Yep.
it's in a high enough,
Right.
Right.
Yep. And that's certainly consideration we're looking
Yeah.
at. So-
that's a good idea, because Beaver Creek does a calendar every year, and it's all, it's a contest,
Yep.
and they get hundreds, probably thousands of photographs
Yep.
for that.
But your idea about a calendar is, I wouldn't be afraid to make the whole brochure an actual monthly calendar.
Oh, sure.
And
Yeah.
then, you'd still have enough room for ads and that kind
Yep.
of thing, but then you have pictures, and the sponsors can be the picture
Yep.
ahead of that month, and people will keep that and use it.
You could also even do a Trempealeau County calendar, like Wisconsin Counties Association does one, and again, it's a contest. So we'll be getting that calendar in a couple weeks. Bob?
I hand out a brochure from a county from up north at my station, and I probably hand out about 2 cases a year of them.
Yeah.
And that's how this is broke down,
Right.
It's got lakes in it, and then it's got a calendar in the inside, January through December.
Yep.
Everything from a city celebration, church picnic, fish fry, widows
Yeah.
dance for deer hunting and
Yep.
stuff
Right.
like that. And it is a unique calendar, and doesn't take up that much space.
I'll have to stop by and get a copy of that
Yeah,
and see what
that's a
you're
great
talking
idea.
about.
It would be, I think,
Yep.
interesting to see what we've had in the past. If you can bring us any examples of what you have, if all of us
Yep.
bring different examples so that you have them and you have a
Sure.
little catalog of things to choose from, I think that'll give you some great ideas and some great things to peruse through.
So
your
the other
scrapbook.
thing that's all wrapped up in this, idea of a brochure and stuff like that too is, I really want to see us do a rebranding. In other words, we've got like 3, maybe 4 different slogans, not even branding, out there. Like we have Explore Trempealeau County, Take Time in Trempealeau County. Help me out here. There's a couple other ones. Anyway.
Spring, summer.
Obviously, they're memorable.
Yeah. No, they're all floating around out there, sort of in the ether, and that's a problem because, none of them are really.
We need one.
None of them are really memorable.
Right.
And,
Obviously.
I've got a couple ideas that I've kind of shared internally, and I want to, kind of flesh that out a little bit. There is some money with the Department of Tourism to do rebranding, and rather than starting from scratch and just say, hey, what do you think our brand should be? There's a couple ideas that I have from talking to some other people that I think, have some strong potential. And I'd almost like to, test those out with like a branding place to say, what could we do with this? Do you think it's a good idea or not? So, if you see me coming forward in, another couple meetings saying, hey, look, this is, our slogan going forward is going to be this, don't be surprised.
This might be one of the things to start now, with this picture taking, because basically Trempealeau County is noted for recreation.
Yep.
I mean, fall and winter,
Yep.
Right.
in that both hunting and colors and snowmobiling.
Yep.
I mean, everybody says how beautiful it is here. If we do something now with people taking pictures now, we can use them for next year, because fall is
You bet.
in 2 weeks.
It's already happening, colors.
Yeah, and the idea of, I've had that same idea with asking people, and we've got a substantial following on our Facebook page especially, but also on Instagram, to put out a call for that. I do think we need to supplement that with some professional photography, though.
Oh, sure.
So if anybody's got, some good recommendations on local photographers that you'd like to, send my way, I would love to reach out to some of those people. And maybe if we give them a smaller, set of things that we need, that would be better versus saying we need everything. Because I do think that if we put that call out to, amateur photographers or residents, that we'll get some stuff.
Yeah, and getting photographs of people having fun,
Right.
if they could get to the park on the 24th, hopefully there'll be lots of people.
Because
having
everybody
fun.
takes selfies and, pictures
Right.
of having fun, and those really
Those
are the
are-
hardest
yeah.
to get
Yes.
with a photographer. In a lot of
Yes.
cases, you're staging those shots.
Right, and they're not the same.
Yeah.
No, but I think, I love your idea about the contest and doing that. Obviously, you are gonna have to supplement some of that
Yep.
with things, but I bet if you put out to all the folks on your Facebook, I bet you'll get a ton.
Yep.
And those are really, you're right about the people pictures. It's the people having fun that you wanna have in there. The
Yep.
little kids with their big smiles and that kind of thing, that's what you need.
Yeah, and I will need to work with Corp Council to get
Take
like
pictures.
a photo release, something that at least gives us the, if not the copyright, gives us the, right to use that in our stuff, as well as,
Yeah.
if somebody else asks for pictures of Trempealeau County, that we could use that, so.
And I think you have to have parental permission to have photographs of children
Yeah.
that you're gonna
Right,
publish.
so they'd have to provide
So it's a simple
releases.
form when you do a,
Yep.
when you do a
Yep.
contest. It's very simple.
Yep.
It's part of you submitting your picture it's a release. That's right on there. So that it's simpler than you think, that piece.
Anything else?
Yep, the last quick thing I'll just mention is the Wisconsin Economic Development Association Fall Best Practices Conference is coming up at the end of September in La Crosse. Trempealeau County, I think, as I previously mentioned, Trempealeau County has done a sponsorship for that, so we're already in the registration materials and promotional materials. As a sponsor, I think that's a good opportunity with people coming from around the state to, see Trempealeau County out there, and it's going to give me an opportunity to promote that. We're sponsoring also the last session of the conference on Friday morning, September 30th, and that session's actually dealing with small business, small towns, the downtowns that are successful, and Galesville is going to be featured in that, along with Cuba City. So Sharon Spar from the Craft Barn and Kelly Gardner from Create Happy are going to be, representing Galesville and talking about, what has worked there, talking about the, crazy high percentage of like women-owned businesses in Galesville, and seeing if they can flesh
Go
out,
figure.
a little bit hard. It's like a really high amount.
It is.
It is.
I'm not saying it's like too high. It's just it's very
Not high
Never be
enough.
too high.
yeah.
Fun, that's good. Trempealeau County. Do you want to know my slogan? Get lost in Trempealeau County.
One thing else I think would be, we shouldn't forget to put in that pamphlet or brochure, is there's a lot of people putting their houses in for VRBOs.
Yes,
Mhm.
yeah.
And I think when people, they want,
Airbnb.
Airbnb.
Well, both.
There's both. There's verbal.
Yeah, but some, you know,
VRBO.
and I know 3 or 4 just in Independence around the area, but, and I've heard of people in Arcadian. So people, they have someplace, if they want to come here, they know they got a place to stay.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
other than just a hotel, which.
We
which
don't
are-
have.
Which are great. Well, we have a nice one here in town, you got one in Arcadia, but people,
There's
sometimes
2,
they,
3,
just,
right.
you know, they want to bring their whole family or something like that, you can
Right.
put 10 people in a house.
Yes.
And I think
Yeah.
that's something just to keep in mind, to maybe
Different lodging opportunities.
reach out to those
yeah.
people and see if they want to put something in.
Absolutely,
They may pay
yeah.
$50 for the thing, so at least you're gonna get something, you know?
Of course.
Yeah, that's a great idea, because I don't think our Airbnbs and Vrbo get a lot of attention, or even know they exist, unless you go online specifically looking.
Charlie Wick has got his house.
Well, part of it is you have quite a large job within a limited number of hours that you have to do. And, you know, and I think that's a big part of it. You can only do so much with
Yeah.
so much time, but
Mike keeps reminding me you can't do everything in the first 6 months. It's
I don't know
like,
why
that's-
not.
That's
You're doing
obvious,
great.
but,
Thank you for your hard work.
so it's prioritization. Yeah.
Anything else?
That's it.
Oh, good job.
You're safe.
Camping we're moving on to number 9. Camping reservation system update. That was like, what is that on the chalkboard? Do we even have chalkboards anymore in school?
Nope.
Whiteboards.
Yep.
Okay, is it you?
This would be me.
Oh, that would be you reading?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll just give a quick update on the reservation system. It is up and running, and there's been for the most part, running pretty smoothly. There's a few minor things that we're working out as far as just like the layout on the website and like the email setups as far as like confirmation emails and refunds and that type of thing. Otherwise, it does take a little while just to learn it, but looking at it every day, and you know, it's encouraging to see names of people that we haven't seen before coming in. I don't know if that's because when they just go on to CampSpot,
it's easy.
it's easy, and then they show you all the campgrounds available within a certain radius. So I think there's people that are finding out that the park exists now. So that's good. And I've run into some people the last couple of weeks that have just, because of the online thing, they just went there to check it out, and I've rented them at the park. So that's good. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
It's been only a positive. Plus the amount of time that it saves both myself and Becky when it comes to not having to manually write out all these receipts for every cash payment that comes in or check payment that comes in. It's just nice that it's
Here's your
immediate
money.
now.
Yeah.
That's right. So it's good for the park all around and the department as well.
The
Well,
true test will
congratulations,
be, oh, I'm sorry, December 31st.
That's correct. Yep, we'll
Whether
see how
it
that goes.
crashes.
Well, I can't imagine, I assume with a I don't know the term I'm looking for, a company of this size that runs as many campgrounds as they do, I can't imagine there'd be too much of a problem, but I hope there's no confusion from
Right.
the people that have been calling in for all these years to reserve for Ashley. I kind of talked to a lot of people at the festival. What would you prefer? Do you want to keep doing that January thing because it's going to be online, and I don't know exactly like if there's going to be a time? Maybe Laura, you know, is there like a set time that you have to reserve, or can you set that
So
up?
here's what I would do. And Becky, first of all, I want to commend you guys because it does take work. I mean, it's not like it was a miracle and it just appears to get
Right.
this done. And you did it right. I mean, you made sure that all the sites were covered and it looks really good. There is something within CampSpot that you can use that's called dynamic pricing, which I would highly
Yeah.
encourage that you use for, especially for Ashley for the Arts, any of your major holidays. What that is it's just like the hotels where if you book ahead, it's a certain price. When you get to a certain occupancy which you set, so you decide if it's 50%, 80% or whatever, the price goes up the later that you are. So if you decide at the last minute you want to get into this campsite, the campsite that would have normally cost you, let's say $25, now costs you $50. Just how it is. So it's dynamic pricing. So first come, first serve.
Right.
And I would just, you know, you've gotten the information out there enough that I would not go back to calling in. I mean, I think that's just crazy.
Oh, I agree, yeah, we're gonna do it
Yeah.
online.
Yeah, I would never do that again.
For sure, yes.
But I think I would really consider that dynamic pricing, take a look at that. I did it for the first time this year at our park, and blown away by the difference in the revenue.
Lori, doesn't it also work that, like, if you get down closer to and you have vacancies, it can reduce the pricing too, to
So-
make it attractive?
You can put a special in there.
Yeah.
But what I would recommend that you do, just because you have such a small number of sites, to start with, what I would do with that is, I would just, you can program it so that it will send out an email at a certain level, and just say that, hey, we have openings for this time frame, and you can put a little special in that, and then that can be one of your requirements that you set for that weekend, that it's a lower price or whatever. I wouldn't do the dynamic pricing going the opposite way, only increase, just because of the number of sites you got.
Right.
But I think you guys have done a great job, and I think you're gonna be amazed at how much easier it is when it comes for that. And all you have to do is, once you have your number set, you can turn that on at any time. So that's totally up to you guys.
It is so easy to do that.
It
It's
is.
nice,
It's
yeah.
super easy, and you just say, yep, turn the money on today, and there it is. That's how it works. But when you turn the water off, then the money goes away. I hate that part.
That's right. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, it's gonna be, you won't have to sit by your phone on New Year's Eve,
Absolutely not.
handwriting all the calls, or listening to the voicemails.
That's
or
right. You know,
however.
there was some entertainment value in some of those voice messages, but
It was ridiculous to
Please
see all
pick
those
me.
yellow pages.
people
of-
were hollering in the background, are you through, are you not?
New Year's Eve, so
You
there
know,
was a lot of adult beverages.
that's right. It was entertaining, but, and then people know they're actually getting in and what they're
Yeah.
getting. I mean, we'll set some, you know, as of right now, we have like a 2-site maximum for that weekend, so
Yeah.
we'll have to, you know, set that as the rules on
Sure,
the
yep.
site there, that kind of thing, that people
That's the
can't go
fun
in.
thing, you can set
Play
those
around with
rules
it, yeah.
any way that you want, and the more that you get into it, the better you're gonna get at it, and then you can use it more as a marketing tool. So when you get to those times where, you know, it's a lower time frame, or maybe you've got something like an Apple Affair or an event that's coming up, then you can certainly, you know, make those changes or add those up and send out emails
Right.
saying, hey, we got this going on, guys, in our county, come on, visit us.
Cool.
Bob, you have a question?
Becky, how long does it take for that to fill up for like Ashley days?
4 minutes, 5?
7 minutes. 7 minutes, he starts going through the phone. It's
Because what
already
I'm
full.
getting at is, what if you say if you had 100 sites and you did it to give everybody a fair chance, to do it like the lottery system, like they do for game tags? Say, if you had 100 sites, give 25 sites on Monday, 25 sites on Tuesday, 25 sites, you know, for that, and then open up what's left on the last day of the week. That way you've got some interest all the way through it. And say if you've got somebody that's either working or they're on vacation, it's a disadvantage for either one of them.
Well, it's sort of not a disadvantage with the way it works, because they can, I mean, as long as you got an internet, you're good to go. So
Yeah.
they don't make it.
What I'm getting at is, say if you got a family function,
Yeah.
and you got 10 people that want to go. Well, each one has got their own little telephone in their hand, and we're over for Christmas or New Year's dinner.
Yep.
Well, you got 10 people that could take, you know, 20 sites just like that in one family.
So it might be different in your area. I don't really care where the money comes from. So as long as I get it, I don't care who gave it to me.
Yeah, but afterward, I mean, you know, people get discouraged, and you want to
They
make
might.
it fun for
They
everybody.
might, yeah, they might.
It honestly has become a game. Like people, I know it gets frustrating because everyone's like, oh, I don't want to do this on New Year's Eve, but it becomes a challenge. And it's like it's part of people's like,
It's like Packer tickets. You
yeah.
got these four
So
black
because we've been
ones
doing
to
it
get
this
them.
way since 2016.
Yeah.
So they've been really like, it's this new, hey, we're gonna play our game on New Year's Eve. See if we can
You're
get
right,
my-
it is kind of fun for the people who call in, so.
Yeah, I'd say 1 in 10 that I talked to. Yeah, right. Very fun. I'd say 1 in 10 that I talked to at the festival wanted to move it. The rest of them wanted to keep it at New Year's.
Yeah. So
So-
just, I mean, the cool thing is it doesn't matter to you guys anymore.
That's right.
So you just put that in there any day you want, and.
Well, that's the
Good
thing.
to
It doesn't
go.
necessarily have to be that day. It could be
Right,
March
could be any
15th
day
at
you
noon.
want it
I
to be,
mean,
yeah.
So,
But it's kind of ingrained in the people that come to Ashley.
That's
This is
right.
what we do on New Year's Eve. We reserve our spot.
yep. And then, in the meantime, we have started another Trempealeau County Parks and Recreation Facebook page. So we've been telling people to watch that page and watch the county website for
There
any
you go.
updates that are going to be,
Yeah.
of when we're going to be, making it available to reserve those sites. Because a lot of people call in after the festival because they come in and they park
Right, and then they.
in the
want-
parking area, then they see the nice setup there and they want to just stay there. And they ask how they can get reservations.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of people already calling and requesting for next year. Obviously, we're not taking reservations at this
Until-
point yet.
Right.
But.
But I love the idea that you use it to build up your Facebook and that kind of
Yes.
stuff.
Yeah.
And that's the fun part, so.
How's this gonna work, Reed? And I'm not, this is my first year on this committee, but you said at the last meeting that you run a special for like hunters after, since we're almost into September.
Right.
So do you post that right away on the Facebook page?
That'll be on there.
And,
That we'll be posting that here in the next couple of days, actually, because it does start on the. I think we agreed on
September
the
15th?
Yeah, the
Isn't it?
opener is
Yeah.
the 17th, so we're gonna just have it start then.
Oh, both starts on the 17th?
Yep.
Okay.
And then
and you run it till what?
we have that on the website as well.
Okay.
So,
I thought
and then
that
it
was
runs
a good
till I think second weekend of gun season, Thanksgiving.
Nice.
And obviously, we can't guarantee water and everything's on at that time. It all depends on the fall. But you know that, Laura. You gotta shut
I
down
do.
that water.
Yes, I hate that part.
Use
Yep.
spring water, it doesn't freeze.
There you go.
So,
There you go.
if I could hand carry it to every campsite, I would.
Anything else on number 8?
No, that should be it.
Okay, and I believe you are also, or I meant
Or wait,
number 9.
9, yeah.
You are also number 10.
I am. I just have a few things to go over here. Well, we kind of talked about Ashley for the Arts. It went smoothly. No hiccups there. Everything went good. I'm just going to touch on snowmobile a little bit. We do have 2 bridge installs happening this fall.
Oh, good.
It's anticipated end of September, early October. One's going to be over by Blair, Lakes Cooley Creek there, just off of 53. And then another one off of the Elk Creek up 93. They're anticipating late September, early October. Those are the ones that we applied for last year, and we received grants for both of them, which is nice. One's quite a bit bigger than the other. One's probably 65 feet. The other one's a 40-foot bridge, but that'll be, those new bridges look really nice, and they're
They'll be done by the end of September, you said?
end of September, early October. That's when
Okay.
they're going to get them in. So we're all set, ready to go on those, just waiting on the contractors.
Just need snow.
Well, that's,
lot of
yep,
snow.
Exactly. Hopefully we have that this year. Looking at the dates the last few years and when the trails were open, it's a little bit depressing on the snowmobile front.
I
But
know.
we have a grant application for another bridge out right now and some new miles. The snowmobile board is actually at the state's looking at it. I didn't check if they did it yesterday. I was kind of worked half the day yesterday and took off the other half yesterday. But yesterday and today are the days they're going through the applications, whether they're going to approve them or not. So I'll be looking into that. I guess we'll see if we have, if they ask me for any more information or whatnot. They usually do. But I'll be looking into that today. And then the meetings, the snowmobile meetings are starting back up here in September, the once-a-month meetings, so I'll be attending those. And just staying up to date with everything that needs to be done there, so. Otherwise, going forward, the rest of the fall, we have Labor Day weekend coming up. We're full except for one site, for that, which is the first time since, I think that's something to do with that online reservation system, I do, because people are seeing it, it's the lowest rates around, and, I know we approved the new rates for last year, but we're gonna implement those in the spring, so. Did I say last year? Last meeting, we approved them.
Feels like last year.
Yeah, but, that's where we're at with kind of the day-to-day operations with what I've been up to, so.
That's great that the park is almost full on Labor Day weekend.
It is, yeah. And it sure is easy to issue refunds, too.
Yeah.
That's
which-
right,
yeah.
just push a button.
Which you might want to think about too, like, nobody else does that.
Good point.
FYI.
Yep.
Just say no. They're non-refundable.
If
Anything
that's,
else?
yeah, no, that should be it.
Okay. Moving on to number 11, the 50th anniversary expense approval event update.
Yeah, there's just 2 things that need to be approved by the committee. Just that sheet that I handed out to you guys, really plain Jane there, just a couple of items.
This one with 2 on it?
Yep, that's
Okay.
all there is.
All right.
the first one is that tent rental, that's $645 for the day. And then the music is $1,000, so if the committee could,
All right, I'm
It's
looking
okay
for a
with-
motion to approve these two expenses for the 50th anniversary party.
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor? Oh, we have to do roll call. It's Money. Nutter, yes.
Sorry, yes.
Severson, yes.
Dietrich, yes.
Folds, yes.
Becker, yes.
Passes. There you go.
great. Thank you very much.
My tent rentals were great.
That's it?
Yeah.
What did you do?
That's it for agenda, yeah.
No, I mean, that's it for the anniversary party? Everything's going,
Is there anything else anybody else wants to discuss? We've been having a 2-week meeting about every 2 weeks with kind of a group of people we put together, putting it on, and everything is kind of lining up, and a few last minute details will work out in the next few weeks here, and the next thing you know, here it is.
and I don't know if everybody was in here, but the ADRC is gonna offer transportation to seniors who don't have a way to get there. So the bus will be running to bring people to the park, which will be
Great.
fun. And they were very excited about it yesterday.
Good. Hopefully we have a good turnout.
Yeah. Any questions? Anybody have anything else to bring up on that? Okay. The park logo contest.
Yeah, did all of you see the email that I was able to send out?
Yep.
I don't know what, if-
I love the one that woman, and the story just about killed me when I read it.
yeah, that was touching, wasn't it? And then the other 2 logos that came with. So basically, I don't know if the committee wants to decide on a logo of the 3 that were submitted to be presented at the park as a logo going forward. Unless the committee wants to discuss it more or do something different.
Yeah, we need
Yeah,
to make a decision.
so, because then we'll put it into the itinerary for the meeting
Okay.
for the, the program.
Okay. Do you want to hold them up in case people?
Yeah, I don't know if
didn't see them?
did everybody get a chance to see it, or do you want me to pass them around?
Pass them around.
I don't know if you've seen them or not. I sent them out.
I know
can't
we
remember.
talked last month, or this month, or at our previous meeting about using that logo for T-shirts or the infamous coffee mugs that I wish we had more of.
I'd have to look at, if some of you are looking it up online, I can't remember the exact day I sent that email. I know it was last week,
24th.
24th.
And everybody should read the letter the woman wrote with the one she did. It was incredible how the park, I mean, that's at the essence of the park, how it changed her life and her kids, how important it was to her children.
With what that logo that you're talking about, I think is absolutely phenomenal. The only thing is it is not something that we can put on letterhead or
Right.
T-shirts or,
Right.
I mean, we really need to keep that in mind when we're looking at this. Something that's gonna be able to go onto our letterhead, something that's gonna be able to go on a T-shirt, something that's gonna be able to go on posters. I think that logo that she drew up is a good idea to put on a poster. I just don't think that it is something that we can use for doing printing wise.
I would really like to see if we could get her permission to maybe post the letter at the park that day. Or if she comes, to have her talk about how influential the park was for her and her family. I mean, because that just was like, that's what the park is all about.
Right.
And making it a poster is a good idea too. We could put it in at the park. But you're right, it's not easily transferable, but I just really loved it. I know, I made my husband read the letter too, so it was so touching.
What's that?
I'll hold these up for the people at home. I don't know.
A good idea, and I'll hold another one up.
Which camera?
Yeah, I can see them.
Yeah.
I would enter, how do you want to vote on these? Just,
How about, well, this will be A.
this will be B, and this will be C. All those for letter A, raise your hand. I want that on a poster. B, raise your hand.
You're raising your hand, Jean.
I'm raising my hand, yes. That's 3. C, raise your hand. 2. B is the new logo. Can everybody see it? It says Petrick Park, Trempealeau County, established 1971.
Yeah, that, the only thing with that one, guys, is that it will be very tough to put on
The
your.
trees with the
yeah.
green grass is gonna be really
Yeah.
hard to transfer.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna cost you a lot, like if you do a mug or whatever, it's gonna cost a lot, because it's full color process, same thing with a t-shirt or anything like that.
But it's
I mean, it
beautiful.
is what it is, it's beautiful, it is what it is, but,
Could always request that the artist maybe make it, see if there's a way we could make it two-color.
Right. Or the print shop, they know how to,
Yeah.
we could ask Rob,
Yeah.
Rob Quine, how this could be transferable, but it is really pretty.
And do we want to share the name of the artist
Sure.
that did that? Do you know who that is, Reed?
You know what? I don't have that offhand. I do have it upstairs.
Next time.
Yep, I can share that for
Next meeting, we'll
sure.
announce the
For sure.
We'll do a
person
press
who won.
release on it.
I'll be reaching out to that person though.
Okay. All right, and if you could reach out to the woman who wrote the letter too, to see if we could post her letter at the park. and
I will
then
do that.
Maybe
Yep.
we might use her, hers as a poster, Who was the woman that did the Trempealeau County poster that is hanging in your office, or was hanging in your office?
Oh, her name was
She's
Eve.
from-
Yeah.
Eve, maybe she could transfer this into a poster, because she did a really nice job on the
Mhm.
Trempealeau County one. Okay. Anything else on the anniversary? Just to remind people listening, it's September 24th, 3 to 7.
So, I'll be at WHTL on Thursday, and we'll be talking about that, but then sometime in the next 3 weeks or so, we'll have a special half hour, that we'll just be talking about that, I
Oh,
think.
good, okay.
So I might be tapping Bob, you to maybe, join Mike and I to talk about that or something. It'll probably be a weekday in the next 3-4 weeks here, so.
Okay.
And then we are gonna be doing, we've got a promotional package that we're doing with WHTL. I think it's about $400 to run spots, like the week, 10 days before, encouraging people to come out. And then there will be that live remote from 3 to 5.
Great. It's going to be so much fun. I can't wait. I'm bringing Walter, my new puppy. You won't have yours by then. Oh, darn. Okay. Future agenda items, anybody want to add for next month? Bob?
Do you want to open the park up this winter at all? Because I'll plow that parking lot again, like if people want to.
Snowshoe or-
Ski or snowshoe again.
Can we put that on the agenda for next month?
Yeah, let's do that for sure. And also, along those lines, I'm planning on having some quotes for that heater for the October
Oh,
meeting.
good, okay.
So hopefully we can maybe get that installed for just, late fall, early spring activities. Maybe even winter, I guess, if it's something comes up.
Have you had any more response on the lower shelter?
As of now, no. No, not yet. It's been quite difficult to get people out there. It really has. I don't know if everybody's just really busy or if it's,
They are busy.
Yeah.
People are really
Yeah.
swamped.
so.
You have to wait for things like a new roof, maybe next March or next December. It's like, people are really busy. So we have to set the next meeting date, which will be October sometime. October 4th. That's the first Tuesday, 8:30 in this room. Anything else? Everybody's kind of quiet today. Okay, I'll adjourn at 9:29. Thanks, everybody.